What you guys, why everyone still hates Windows 11? When Microsoft launched Windows 11, they promised us a sleeker, faster, more modern operating system. But years after its release, millions of users are still holding on to Windows 10 like it's a lifeline. Why? Because despite shiny round corners and centered taskbars, Windows 11 managed to do something impressive. It annoyed casual users, infuriated power users, and turned basic operating system features into an obstacle course of ads, telemetry, and artificial hardware limits. So what went wrong? Let's break it down why everyone still hates Windows 11. Now, the backlash started before the operating system even landed on consumers' machines. Microsoft introduced the infamous TPM 2.0 Trusted Platform Module requirement. Overnight, millions of perfectly fast, highly capable PCs, computers and laptops running 7th gen Intel processors or early AMD Ryzen processors were suddenly deemed obsolete for Windows 11 upgrades. Now, while security was the official excuse Microsoft gave, the reality was clear. Users were being asked to toss out their functional hardware just to run an operating system that didn't feel fundamentally faster. It felt less like a necessary technical upgrade and more like a forced obsolescence. So this was the biggest problem that Microsoft faced at the very beginning. So it wasn't a great start because there was millions of computers that just couldn't upgrade to Windows 11. Now, it goes without saying there's definitely an online presence of people that are actively trying to discourage others from using Windows 11. But there's also many people who are happy using Windows 11. So this was the big problem I see online, where people are saying bad things about Windows 11 which are simply not true. And maybe this was a push from the Linux community to try and get people to jump ship over to Linux. And this is what I've seen happening time and time again. There's tons of channels on YouTube that are just promoting fake news, and it's trying to destroy the credibility of Microsoft and Windows 11 to try and lure people over to Linux. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is AI generated content. Now, that doesn't mean that Microsoft haven't shot themselves in the foot, because they have. They've created this monster by making stricter, higher hardware requirements for Windows 11. And this has forced a lot of people to stay on Windows 10. And it's also created a divide in the Windows community. You've got a big chunk of people on Windows 10 and you've got a big chunk of people on Windows 11. And there's people that are now going over to Linux. Perhaps the biggest grievance is how Windows 11 treats your desktop, less like a workspace and more like a real estate for advertisements. Even after paying for your Windows license or buying a £1,000 computer, users are greeted with pre-installation bloatware, pop-ups and promoting Microsoft services and ads baked right into the start menu and settings. Want to switch your default web browser to Chrome or Firefox or another browser? Earlier builds of Windows 11, Microsoft made changing your browser an absolute nightmare. Yes, they fixed this issue now, but it goes to show you some of the small things that you really got under people's skin. And of course, this is just a tip of the iceberg. There was tons of other issues that people had with Windows 11. Then come the user interface. Microsoft redesigned Windows to look cleaner, more like macOS and Chrome OS. But in doing so, they stripped away decades of muscle memory and functionality. Windows 11 just become so bogged down with so many settings that you had to go into and turn off. There was all these little rocker buttons you have to go in and just physically turn off manually. And the sad part is when you got a Windows update, these somehow miraculously all turn back on again. And you guessed it, all of the bloat and ads reappeared again. And this was a constant battle. And this is when people started creating scripts to debloat Windows. And this is obviously not something that you should be doing on an operating system just to make it functional. So obviously this has become a major problem for a lot of people. Now we're running Windows 11 25H2 here, and a lot of people will tell you that Windows 11 is absolute garbage. It crashes, you get blue screens, you get lots of other issues with Windows 11. Let me tell you, a lot of that stuff is just misinformation and it's not true. Windows 11 is pretty stable. You're not going to get issues like that. I've been running Windows 11 since the very beginning. Now, yes, granted, there has been issues with Windows updates. Microsoft have started to get on top of these issues and started to roll out fixes and making Windows 11 a lot better than what it was. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But that being said, it's not as bad as what people make out. Now, I make videos on this channel about the good, the bad, and the ugly about Windows 11. Now, of course, if there's an issue, I will make a video on it. The problem is people will magnify this small little problem and make it a major problem. There's channels out there on the internet that are literally turning a small issue into a major problem as if Windows 11 is absolutely falling apart. And that's just simply not true. And of course, because it's drama based, they get hundreds of thousands of views, and this obviously really reflects badly on Windows 11. Now, one of the things I can't see Microsoft fixing is telemetry, AI, and privacy. Under the hood, Windows 11 has data collection and telemetry. And like I said, you can turn a lot of this stuff off. It doesn't get rid of all of it, but it just means you have to jump through a few hoops to get some sort of privacy back. You have to turn a lot of stuff off. You can either use Group Policy Editor, registry hacks, or even scripts or programs that you can get online to be able to, control a lot of the concerns that you might have with telemetry and privacy and AI. There's been an ongoing battle with Microsoft with the required Microsoft accounts during the out-of-box experience. They're trying to force you to sign into an account, and that has been a major issue for Microsoft to deal with. They are looking into it. Hopefully they will come round and remove that option and give people the option to use local accounts. As for AI and Copilot, I can't see that going away anytime soon because AI is here to stay. And unfortunately, it just means you're going to have to turn a lot of this stuff off. Another big problem for Windows 11, and this was a really massive big issue for Microsoft and also for people that were looking to use Windows 11, and that was Windows Recall. Windows Recall was, something that people did not want. Now, Windows Recall was designed to take periodic snapshots of your desktop. This is all your private information. Yes, it was stored on your local machine, but this created major concerns for a lot of people and made people feel increasingly uneasy. Especially, it was taking snapshots of your banking, of all your activities online, and just people just felt so betrayed. And yes, people just did not like Windows Recall whatsoever. Now, because it was very early in development, a lot of people assumed a lot of things about Windows Recall. And of course, they were saying things like it runs as a dependency, it's running all the time, you can't turn it off, it's going to be running on every Windows computer, and it's going to be sending all of your information back to Microsoft. And of course, all of this was completely false. It was just people, trying to get clicks and trying to get views. And a lot of this stuff was just not 100% accurate about Windows Recall. Yes, Windows Recall is junk and it's not great to be having that on your system, but it only worked on NPU CPUs, not on every single operating system that had Windows 11 on it. And that was one of the big mistakes they made. The second big mistake they made was saying that you can't disable it and it's completely on all the time and all the information is stored on Microsoft servers, when that was simply not true. It was stored locally on your system. Again, it was a really touchy subject, Windows Recall. Microsoft then pulled it for a while, and of course they reworked it, and of course now they've re-released it again. You still need to have a Copilot Plus PC. This was another bit of misinformation. A lot of people started saying that it was going to be on every single Windows computer right out the gate, and of course that's not true. You had to have a special computer to run it, and this was one of the big problems. I've made videos about it on my channel explaining how you can turn it off. I even showed it on a Copilot Plus PC and how to disable it as well. So if you want more information about it, check out my channel. I've got loads of videos on that topic. And it's certainly something that I don't want on my computer. And if they ever release it on a normal standard CPU, then I would be finding ways to disable it or rip it out, or even go to another operating system, because that is something that I do not want to have on the system, taking snapshots of everything you do on your computer, which is just unacceptable. So what's the conclusion? Well, is Windows 11 really that bad? Should you avoid it like the plague? Unfortunately, a lot of this is going to be down to you and your choice on what operating system you use. All I can say is that if you are going to be using Windows 11, be prepared to use methods like this to turn a lot of features off. And you're going to either have to do it manually, or you're going to have to use applications like this to be able to gain a little bit of privacy and also turn a lot of the stuff off you don't need. Most of the people aren't going to be using a lot of this stuff, so you can use programs to disable a lot of it. I generally use Group Policy Editor because I use Windows 11 Pro, and I've been using Windows 11 since the beginning. So to be fair, Windows 11 isn't all bad. Underneath all of the frustrations that Microsoft have brought to Windows 11, now Microsoft have started to fix Windows 11. A lot of people don't believe it, but they have. Windows updates are more stable. They're not breaking all the time. Yes, they're getting small little issues occasionally, but what people are doing on YouTube is making that small little issue and making it sound like a major big problem. And of course, this is getting a lot of traction, and people still think there's major problems with Windows 11 when there's not. Now, some of the things that haven't changed is privacy and telemetry. You are still going to have to use something like this, or use Group Policy Editor, or whatever it is you use to disable a lot of the privacy concerns in Windows 11. Things like hardware requirements are not going to change anytime soon. And we are living in the age of AI, so I can't see Copilot just completely disappearing from Windows 11. Microsoft accounts are still required. Right now, they haven't offered a local account option during the out-of-box experience. The Start menu has had a lot of work done to it, but it's still crap. It just needs to use something like Start 11, unfortunately. But once you get all of these things in place, Windows 11 works perfectly fine. Should you have to do it? No. But unfortunately, you're just going to have to if you want to use Windows 11. If you want to know more about Windows 11 and some of the new features that are coming to Windows 11, then just check out my playlists in Windows 11. There's plenty there to choose from for you to be able to get updated with Windows 11. So just want to give you a quick update on the Discord server. Basically, I got locked out of my owner account for the other Discord server, which is unfortunate because we were just growing nicely there. I put a lot of work and effort into it, and unfortunately Discord just refused to help me on the situation. I offered to give them my identification to be able to gain access to the owner of that Discord, but they've just told me I have to build a new one. So I've built a new one. I have left a post in the announcements page on the old Discord server for this new Discord server. It's still work in progress, but it's getting there, and I will start adding some stuff to this as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, you might as well do so, because this is where all the information will be for, because I'm going to be posting all the information for Wintune if and when I release it, and any other scripts that I create will be posted on here in the future. Any information like that will be on the Discord server. So the link for the new Discord server is in the video description of this video. Obviously, all the old videos with the other Discord servers are now obsolete. It will be this one that you'll need to join if you do want to keep updated for that. Also, I will add some other channels in here. It's very new. It's only a sort of half a day old. So if you want to join, the link is in the video description. And if you're on the old Discord server, check out the announcements as well in there, and you'll see a link for this Discord server there. And you just click on it and it will bring you over to this one, and then you can do whatever you like with the old one, but no one's going to be using the old one anymore. Anyway, but that said, I think that's going to be about it. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel grow. Also, just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members who joined my YouTube members group. I really do appreciate the support, and I shall catch you in the very next video, or I'll see you on the new Discord server once again. I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. Anyway, bye for now.